be streaming. Nice. So I'm going to continue working on Stenungsund in order to sometime in the future eventually release the track and have it finished. So looking at what we got so far, sort of doing a lap here, we will see a start. So it's dropping frames at least in game. That sucks. So last time, if I remember correctly, we did this berm here. We also added this smaller berm along with this minor thing. I really need to change the traction. We also added this berm outside along with the ditch. These two here slightly angled straightaway. Doubles, whoopsie, doubles, bank, big step up jump. Man, I gotta say, this must be my favorite section. It feels so nice. And then we have this part here, going over the folk race course. Big step down. Oh, that's it. Final tabletop and speed jump out and straight away. I would say that's about a lap here, so let's get into what we need to work on this next time here. So I need to add a bank here on the start, on the inside, I guess. Me being so bad at starts. So a little bank here, tire in the middle, down. So something like this. Now we have. Obviously, I opened in the wrong shortcut. These things always happen. So this looks better. Start. And then we have it's not too high. This is going to be way too high. Yep. Forgot to change the strength. Seems like a reasonable height. So smooth this backside here. Spamming the button all over the place. Nice. Perfectly shaped. Should also get it real weak and just do a little bit here. That looks about right. What's up, Clash Sino? I'm going to add a little bit of I'm just gonna add a little bit of sort of edge here, the inside. As it looked like it was a little edgy in real life. What's up, Jake? So just filling out in the middle here so it's not too weird big edges on the side. Several weird edges at the moment. I mean, that looks pretty natural, not too perfect-ish. Do you mean like having models and stuff? You know, just import skins and bikes or tracks? So you mean just basically importing tracks and skins? Going to save, always forgetting to save. Looks like a ditch here and a few piles. So basically what you do when you do this is you download pretty much anything. Forum. So basically just take a quick look at this. I'm just going to download the first thing that pops up here. Oh shit, that was too big. But the basic procedure is you download something in a RAR file, then you extract the RAR file and take the folder or files and put them in this folder. That's really simple. So you can PM me about that on YouTube or something. It's really simple. If that's the only thing keeping you away from buying this game, you shouldn't be worried. Okay, so that made no sense. I'm not sure what I did not save, so let's see. If you're just willing to put in a few hours and learn the actual game, usually it's really worth buying. I mean, I've spent so many 100 hours on this game. What's up, Sergey? I have no idea how long it's until Daytona comes out. I thought it was going to be out this morning, but it obviously is not, so no idea. So we can see that there's a ditch around here and something for its dash. If you want to, it's hidden pass like that, and hidden dash hidden dash HUD gets rid of the whole HUD. So if we look at the ditch on the image, we can say that it's about a meter too wide. Crush races, so I don't think it live streams. So ditch is here. We can actually see the outline of the ditch going around. Just to prevent people from going in the ditch, I'm actually going to make sort of a sharp edge. Let's see how that turns out. 1, 2, whoops. 2, 3. Just counting so I know how many steps I should delete in case I need. 4. That looks like a good ditch. I mean, the Xbox 360 controllers are really good in my opinion. They're really good. 9 viewers. Nice. Max biggest viewership we've had any time here, so cool to see that. Thanks, man. So let's see. Saved. Could just add a little bit of. So I'm just going to add a little bit of height variation, so it isn't perfectly flat. I think I could move on. Okay, so I do 2 starts here. First one wasn't any good. Can't really see anything on the right hand side here. It looks like a ditch in between those two as well, and here we have a big bank. So I am going to create a little ditch. A little ditch. Yeah, wrong tool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That should be pretty much it. Go lower instead. not big, but it's something. Sorry for that one. So let's make this bank here. What I would do, it looks to be if you're asking me if I race in real life, I'm not really racing like racing. I have raced a few times, but I'm so slow. I'm always finishing last or second to last. But it's fun to ride, no matter what. So let's see if we can create this bank here. I think I'm going to use new gradient. Just doing one of these. Edit. Raise it up a bit. Changing the linear add. Up the focus a bit. About right, maybe. Linear paint. Update the shares twice, and this is too steep, so it's all glitchy. Is there a bank on the inside too? Not much, but it's something. Should come to the inside, see the bank. It looks about right. What's this you did in the sunshine? Oh man, poor cow. Oh. Oh no, the cow seems hurt. Man. Did the cow die? So, that was no fun. Oh, yeah, cows can. Man, that cow, that made me sad. That cow looked happy before it died. So I'm gonna raise a bit here to, oops, to create this inside bump. Lower, bigger. If you noticed, I started a little bit further in and then went out. It's just to create that sort of inside here. I don't know how to say it even. So it's too high up. Doesn't even look good. It looks bad in comparison to the ditch. Just going to smooth it out slightly. If we compare this straight line we could get here with the real life, it seems like it's fairly similar. Now we just need to fix the outside. What do you mean, Jake? Like every time should start on Wednesday? Oh wow, wrong tool. So that looks okay. Now we just need to smooth the edges out here. Have a fun day. See ya. Sorry. So basically just smoothing out the side here sort of equally. This side could be more smoothed out, I would say. It looks so sharp. Why does it look so sharp? That's better. Finally. Whoops, too much. Seems okay. Save. So you can actually tell where you should start now. That's good. You have the hump there to prevent you from cutting the track. Let's see if it makes any sense in first person too. So I usually don't ride in first person, as you probably can tell. Wow, that was way too long. Okay, so we have the start pretty much dialed in. As far as of now, let's see. We have a ditch on the outside. Oh, we have the big bank. I forgot about that. If you look at straight ahead now, you can see the big bank here. That's the best bank ever. That's like, you can sit on it and stuff, and it's so good. You can have a picnic basket and stuff, and just, it's really, really good. It's actually continuing on the other side. Really? Seriously? Oh wow, no idea. So I just realized, as people suggest I should talk more, so I'm talking way too much, is that it's big piles of dirt at this point, and this bank, you can see in this area, is going over the whole thing. That actually looks like a road. And there's that. There's a fence. So with a gradient here, new gradient. Here we can see the sort of shape of it. It's not too long. Something maybe like this. And then I always like to put in the last one close. Sort of like that. Just going to do sort of a shape like that, just to make it more believable the people sit there. I'm a little bit unsure on how to do this in a good way. That actually looks surprisingly good. Or it looks surprisingly good from what I expected it to look. So oh yeah, and it should be split into two sides, that's right. Yeah. How far does it go? This way? It still continues. And there's the road, so it can't go further. The rev limiter? You mean tachometer? This RPM counter? I actually made it myself. Yeah. You want it? If so, I could really quickly make the upload for this particular one. Unifier. Do you have Photoshop? If so, I am going to send you a link to the sort of old version that is a little bit different. That might be too or not steep enough. Oh, that's you. Oh, that makes total sense. Sorry, I'm so confused when people tell me who they are. We have shifter and we have tack. Those two. I would say not sharp enough. That looks good. I'm European, but you probably figured that one out by my accent. At least so you should. Oh, I'm actually going to duplicate this gradient and then I'm going to change the angle of it. Linear add. So that looks about right, I would say. Need to smooth that one out a little bit. So just going to smooth that one out so it's not as sharp as it is at the moment. For some reason it just feels like I can't smooth things. That's better. That's way better. To sort of create, if you want to call it, natural groove here, we could take the smooth tool and smooth certain parts here. Something like this, just to make the height variations slightly different from each other. I don't even think it's noticeable at the moment. Anyway, it's a nice smooth edge. Always something. So let's see here. Save. That's one thing about this track, it's that sort of iconic. It's really that big bank on the side where people can sit and have lunch or something. It's actually quite nice. Oh man, closest track is 1 hour away. That's so unlucky. Where I live, where I grew up, I had my closest track 10 minutes away from me. I had the Swedish GP 30 minutes away, and then if within about an hour, a little bit more, but about an hour, I probably had 20 to 30 tracks, like at least 10 to 15. So banks are done. Let's go back again and see what else we could do. Yeah, we have the ditch here too, as I see now. The ditch runs all along. There's actually a little bit of a berm there as well. Wow, I did not see that one. So let's see here, we have streamed for streamed for 38 minutes. So we have missed the berm on this outside. It's not much, but it's a little bit of an angle at least. And look at how perfect this circle is, or semi-circle. It won't get more perfect than that one. That's strange, but probably. It's almost so perfectly circular that you wanna call Illuminati on that one. Almost. The top is there. think that if I would have that one at more higher, that would be too high. I'm just going to change so when I paint over the given angle, it's going to continue in this direction instead of zoom. So as you say, it's not this berm, it's not something you think about really, but it's still nice to have it there. And if we look at, we can see that we have a rut thing going on. So let's get that one going as well. Way lower radius. Then just paint along the top here. Doesn't need to be perfect. And the actual radius is 5 feet. Ooh, that was big. Just going to increase it slightly for a few. Starting to take shape. Going to back down to about 5 again. And it's important that you don't stop and start at the same place all the time. In that case you will end up with a very abrupt and sudden end of the berm, and perhaps start as well. So you need to be smooth about it. Sort of just writing out the track, trying to get a feeling of the track in. Sounds weird, but sort of what I am trying to do. Awkward triple. Not realistic, but the game isn't fully realistic, so not really sure what I can do about it, unfortunately. Unless I want to make the jump super steep. Similar. So basically what I'm doing here is we have the baseline that is a berm that is something like this. So as you can see, it's very flat. Then first I'm gonna pile up a top of layer, and since it's using pretty much smooth 0, it's going to be a shape like that. It's going to be a really smooth shape, just at the same angle, it's not going to be anything like this. So first, if I add a size of this, it's going to be, as you can see, this is not going to make for too great of a berm, and it's going to be very flat. So what I have to do is also use this one to make it a little bit more, so you can see that I have the sort of entrance from this point. So I have I can't draw, so I have a nice entrance, and then once again I'm going to pile up more like this, and then I'm going to use an even smaller radius to sort of create an effect like this. So basically adding all these on top of each other will result in curve that is like a berm. And I'm not sure how the eraser works here, but if we just take a look at how this came together, we can see that it's bermish, at least. That this layer, the first one, starts, the first layer starts this section right here, then the second one comes up and raises this part, third this, and fourth finally the sharp up here. It's really ugly, but I think it explains pretty good what I am doing at this point. And if you look at the berm, how it looks, it's actually got sort of a nice smooth thing, and it's not too smooth on top, but I'm still going to give it a little bit more edge. Sorry, my throat is messing up. And I still want to have a really low here, so you won't get any abrupt things. This is just basically not to gain any height, this is just to make it look a little sharper. I'm going to have to back out a bit. As we can see, it looks, it's not sharp, but it's not smooth either. It's sort of the happy in between. So welcome back everyone. We went from 3 to 9 viewers once again. Pretty quickly. Surprised me. So let's update the shaders and then save. I just want to see if something spikes here, because I get minimal lag. It's really annoying, because I don't even know what it is that lags out. So I'm only using a few percent of the GPU, so I'm not really sure what I got the lag stutter. So that's interesting. Nothing here that seems oddly high. Core clock, CPU temperature, CPU usage, nothing seems out of line. And right, we still have this stitch here to go. So let's get a look here at the ditch. We can see that the ditch is still going strong here and goes all the way over. You can see that something's in this area between these ones. It may look like a ditch actually. Going to make it a little bit smaller. Raise is not what we want lower. Which is your nearest track? I am actually not sure. I moved to study for college back in about 1.5 years ago, and since then I have not been on the bike once. Yeah, I think I've raced a few times, but my closest track used to be Trollhättan, which is another track I'm actually working on. So this used to be my nearest track. And this is at a competition, pretty much. And I'm in the slowest group as always. And it's really dusty from time to time. I also work on this track for MX Simulator at the moment. If you look at my YouTube channel and something like that, or if you can use that letter, it would be okay. But this is basically the track I grew up racing on, so it's been a few changes here and there. No, but the layout is pretty much the same since the first build. Like this was just a single instead of a tabletop at the beginning. We also changed up this part right here. At the very beginning you pretty much did this the same, but then you went straight out right for a single. You also had straight here and then just a drop down instead of another thing. I have not watched that. I think I'm going to see what it is. So that was the track I grew up racing on. Oops, closed the wrong one here. So let's see. Yeah, it's me right now, the Suzuki. Yeah, I've seen that arena cross. It's amazing. It's really, really good. So let's continue on with the ditch here. This was surprisingly not deep. Doesn't have to align perfectly with the old one. Not doing that creates sort of not perfect shape in really unrealistic thing. Ditch riding, yay! Man. And the track I just showed, that one, my local, used to be 10 minutes from where I lived, so it was really easy just to get there quickly. So I think this track is, it's not done, but it's phase 1 done, if you can call it something that. Going to smooth a little bit. So that looks pretty good. Just gonna have to answer a text real quick, so just going to play this so you have something to look at. We have the inside that point. I think that's the next thing that's going to have to be added. I should ride a Kawasaki in real life. I am never going to own a Kawasaki in real life. I'm usually like that. If people really want to push me to something like, you should listen to this, you should listen to this rider is so good. Man, this, if someone is too, I don't know if push is the right word, but like trying to sell their favorite artist or brand, I'm just going to more or less hate that brand, and that's the case with Kawasaki. I had a friend that was diehard Kawasaki fan, and that just killed my interest in Kawasaki. So sorry to crush any dreams, but that's not going to happen. As of now, I don't ride. I don't have a garage, so I don't have any place to have a bike. Unfortunately, I would like to ride and stuff, but that's not a reality when I go to college. So I'm going to create this bank on inside. It's the same, like I don't straight up dislike Villopoto, but I doesn't really like him for the same reason that he's been too pushed, sort of like Villopoto F, yeah. So let's see here. I would like to have a KTM. I feel like KTM's nice bikes, but I don't think I'm gonna own one in the nearest future. Trying to figure out how to. Oh, you lucky dude. I also want to get sponsored by bikes, but I'm nowhere ever near enough good to get sponsored. I could get sponsored for somebody in Sim, that would be a reality, but never for real life. So this looks odd. One more. Richard! What's up, man? Give me a tip for what? Whoops, I looked at my second screen and that's what happens. You gotta keep the eyes on the road, otherwise you will hit singles the wrong way. Ooh. Oh, you mean like that. But it's still nice to get a discount on a bike or something. I mean, basically I would rather, if I would just have to pick a bike, I would probably pick the cheapest one to buy, pretty much. Just because I'm not that die-hard. I don't have that much money to work with. So right now I'm just trying to place the inside bank in a position that is making sense. I think that looks like a decent one. So what we are going to do is smooth the backside here. Need more. And then we can see that I need to smooth it a tad more. But yeah, when I started playing first person, the only view you had, it was 6311. This was the view I had, and this is, people complain about like it's not simulation if it's not in first person, but my interpretation of this is chest cam. Like if you sit down, you don't have the face, you don't have your face in the bar, so this would be sitting down. But as I said, when I started to play, you couldn't change the first person camera, so that's the reason. Also, field of view. Yeah, so. Oh man, bro, I can always say I'm not going to like that one. And I think you're a terrible, I don't want to say person, because I mean, I know you and you're nice, but you can't freaking play in over 110 field of view. This is... No, that's not going to happen. Tried it. Anything above 115 is unacceptable, in my opinion, and I stand by that really, really hard. Actually, with my position, you can't see the neck brace. I don't know. So let's see. I got a Gyatso here for it to make sense. Take a yeah, Richard. The overlay, or whatever it's called, the big decal overlay is just for when I make the sort of the stuff up. I am going to remove it for once. As soon as I'm actually going to start making bumps and ruts and stuff, I'm going to remove it, because it's, especially this one, is so low quality. Nobody really knows about Daytona. It's pretty much whenever it's posted on a forum, that's when it's out. I have no idea. I thought it was going to be out by this morning, but that does not seem to be the case. 10 viewers, new record. Thanks, guys. Or it's new record for the stream when I'm making tracks. I've got a more on EMF, and here's a big ass tire. That's interesting. So ditch in between these two. 6 feet. Smooths the wrong one. Is this too low? I think it looks fairly good. I'm gonna smooth out this part in between. save. This is not a sandy track. This is actually I would call it hard packed or dirt, as this particular section is a little bit softer, while this is also relatively soft. This is a little bit harder, at least the sort of ground base. And this is also, it's just a few inches, an inch or two of soft stuff and on a hard base. But I would say it's a dirt track or something. You should definitely continue working on your track, Ricard. I don't know how to pronounce that in English in a good way. They're really good, so yeah, it's me riding. Just cruising around the track, finishing last in the competition. That particular one is practice, where I tend to go slower and it's easier to see ruts and bumps and stuff. Ditch is done. Let's move on. So I've been streaming for a little bit over an hour. Let's see here what's need to be done. Let's Richard is that? Oh, I thought I was in game. Video, man. Video track, I can't remember. Playback, speed, normal, jump back. I'm actually going to make this part just a tad lower, as that's how I remember it to be. So just place a gradient in the editor. As you see, it's not going to be much. I don't really want people to notice that it's lower. It just should be there. People don't have to know about it. So let's try that. Let's see. If you notice it, it's pretty much too much at this point. So I'm actually going to remove it, set focus to 100 and see just how much different it is. As you can see here, you won't notice this difference, which is actually exactly what I want it to be. So let's add / remove / paint whatever this one out. That's about where the edge is going to be. Looks good. And we can see we have a bank at this point. So let's add a bank. Nice. Sounds good, man. I'll stream for about 20 more minutes, I think, before I go. Later, dude. And apparently my school chat group is mute conversation for 1 hour. That's perfect. I gotta ask, for you guys that has been here for more than this session, is it extremely boring to watch when I make banks on just these minor changes compared to jumps and stuff? Because I would assume making jumps and berms and whatever is more fun than this part. It's the correct one. Oh, this is so weird. I'm actually going to try and do this one again. Linear add. So what I'm trying to do at the moment is just make the right side a little lower than the left side. I don't think you can notice it, but I am going to, since I'm going to make the bank here, I think it could be noticed. So I'm going to have to copy gradient, going to flatten it out, and then I'm going to make a bank on this one. Looking at the bank, we can see that it's slowly going up. Straight till this point. So let's see, line. So let's compare this shape to the real life shape. You can see that the point here is going to be later. It could actually be a little bit higher too, I think. So let's remove the old one. Let's put a new one in. That looks pretty good actually. I'm worried that it's a little bit too low, so I'm just going to raise it up once more. But I think the overall shape of this is looking decent. Probably going to be too much, because that's always the case. You paint something, it's awesome, then it's just too much. I think this is going to be better once the decals and stuff get in. Remove that one, up this. Smooth outside as usual. I think that seems good enough. Then just turn this down a bit and then take the other edges. Yes, to not make it completely abrupt. That was a bit too much. And once again, doing different things from different angles with the sun set at a specific angle will make it look weird from time to time. Look at this, we have a tiny hole in between here before we have the new bank in bankish, bermish thing-ish. Raise. Painting a little bit outside, I want it to be a little bit thicker. Might just have been really high. Deleting as many ones as I can do. Still too high. Lowering this down, I guess. Let's see if even further outside will solve that problem. That's just even worse. Quickest way to not having to save, for sure. Obviously the wrong game. Sort of sorry for the boring part here. I just have to reset so I don't. Sometimes when you do things like that and you only have 10 backup attempts, you just have to exit out. And I think exit out and reload the game is quicker than actually just switching tracks. At least it feels that way. Is this even smooth? Guess so. So let's try one more time here. Should we? We have so disoriented. Here we are. I'm actually going to try and keep the focus here for a bit. Welcome back, Richard. Race. I'm going to try a tiny bit further out this time. seems to be pretty good. I think this is the first time I'm making a berm or a bank or a circle shaped thing with anything else than zero in focus. But at this point I think we can decrease the focus. I've gotten the effect that I wanted, like a plateau open thingy. Way too much on the right side. I'm going to have to work the middle a bit more. Seems so fake. Not in a good way. So let's step frame by frame. This is a good look of it. This is the look we want. And if we look at sort of the same situation, we can see that it just goes out wide instead of cutting in at that point. But I am somewhat satisfied with the rest of the berm, so I am going to gradient placement, copy gradient, and why isn't it possible to what is happening? What? This is freaking me out. That was a new one. Not sure what happened. So apparently for some reason if I copied that particular gradient the game will lock itself. How's that track named? Here. Stenungsund 2014 or 2014 as in English. New gradient. And if we put it at this point, it should give us pretty good idea of how it is. Now we use paint to lower only, I would say. Now we could start doing things like this. That looks much more like this. And I can say that this is probably a foot high, roughly. This is probably 3 foot high. But the only thing is, in sim you gotta have somewhat bigger stuff, otherwise you can just pretty much push through it. Gonna lower that. That's one way to solve our problem, but we could actually make it a tad lower, I think. Looks a little bit better than before. Still need to smooth this part out. I think this is going to be pretty much enough for today. I'm not too motivated to continue too much with the track. I'm just going to try one more thing here, and that is sort of removing this a little bit. It looks better. Looks like a little bit of a sharper berm or bank. I just realized it says Supercross something, but it's incorrect. If we look at this, it looks like pretty much the whole section here is sort of tiny bit lower. Let's make it lower then. Good enough. Good enough. Torn apart what to do next there. I want to stream for a little bit longer. We have a few rocks. We have a bank with statue on top of it. There's some fast guy. We have this bank on the inside. Guess we could do one more bank or two. And he is not too high up. And I am lost. That is... Here we are. So race. That would be almost 3 foot too high. That looks like way too much into the track. Sad thing is that it looks pretty good too, compared to real life. I mean, a little bit too much into the side, obviously. That seems more about it. And by looking at it a few more times, you can see that I put it a little bit too far in, since right now I get a pretty straight drive to that edge. If we look at here, we can see that a straight drive right out of there I would be to the left of the jump, so I am going to have to move it back a fraction. Perhaps better. It's not perfect, but it's a step in the right direction at least. I guess the racing line runs something like this in real life. You come up to the inside. That makes sense. Smooth out the back, just as usual. Don't want this to be too smooth, the back, so I'm going to keep it back a little bit. Low, smooth, just going over those edges too. And let's do something different, just to break the habit here. Let's put it in a statue. We are going to take the statue from outer track. Statue, water tank, Stenungsund. You are right here. Statue, water tank, Linköping, statues. Statue, tank. Close, change folder. This is the right folder. Status file. Then we have, oops, Stenungsund 2014. Just going to put it 0, 0, 0, 0. Perfect. Start up the game again, since we closed it down in order to be able to import the water tank or flag post, as you would call it too. You can see it's up here, statues. It should be on this bank. I mean, it looks fairly okay. How I got a model? I had somebody make it for me. So I actually had another model before this one, but that one had so many flaws in it and it wasn't really attached the planes wasn't attached to each other in a correct way, so had another guy remake it from a model he had on his backyard. So I'm just going to test around the sections here. See. Save. It's almost 3 p.m. That is a tricky one to construct with the stair and stuff in the way. Look at how much ground this guy has to cover. He has 1, 2, 3, 4 turns pretty much. Either way, moving on with the track, we can see we have a bank on inside, we have a ditch inside off of that. You can also see that we have a model about some place here. So let's get into more banks, shall we? So raise, low strength, low such, and then I would say we jump comes. This might seem weird. I'm just going to place sort of where the bank should be. Because banks and stuff, when you use so low values, you can't really see where they go. Makes it really hard to know, so it's good to have a statue or something starting you to know where you should start and end pretty much. Think this would be about, and I guess that would be oh, that sucks. You can watch this on YouTube later if you would like to. See ya. And so this is a little trick I have, not really anything secret, but you can see I'm going to pull sort of a bow move between these ones. So let's get into that. Hello, Rico. So I'm just trying to make the bank less sharp. I have probably gotten the Daytona question 10 times already today. I have no idea. I have as little clue as anyone else. When it's posted on the forum, that's about when I know it's posted. Could raise it up a little bit more here. You wanna play Daytona? No, I mean it's fine. I don't mind answering the question. I just want to explain to people that I unfortunately don't have any idea. But Shakers replied something in the Supercross RF thread, so it is at least being made and stuff. I just don't know where and when it's going to be out. I mean, that looks like a nice bank to have. I'm actually going to go now. I streamed for 1 hour and 43 minutes. I think this is as much as I'm going to get done on this track today. Thanks for everyone who tuned in. Really fun to have people in chat as well, talking, even though it might not be to me. It's always fun to see people engage and socialize. So thanks to everyone who hung out with me today. It means a lot. Fun to not having to do this all by yourself. So thanks everyone. I'm just going to try and not going to happen. So thanks again. See ya next time. That would probably might be tomorrow, not sure. Otherwise, I don't know. Oh, thanks Inferno. Always nice. See ya guys.